From the Terraces,
Cambridge Radio.
Welcome to From the Terraces on Cambridge Radio. I'm Daniel Baker, and with Scott on the way home from Spain, I'm holding the fort for the opening show of the new season. Coming up, we have exclusive interviews from the U's pre-season training camp. Callum Perry, Gaston Hadmay, Neil Harrison, Adam Barrett will all be talking to us. Plus, Tim Armitage is also here to give his thoughts on the summer and season ahead. Elsewhere, Cambridge City manager Mickey Spillane previews the new season. We meet new signing Fletcher Toll later on. And it's back to business for Histon. They played Rugby Town in their league opener yesterday, and we have the post-match reactions of that game, which ended in a 3-0 loss. If you'd like to get involved in the show, you can. It's 07919 070 490. You can text or WhatsApp, or you can email studio at cambridge.radio, and we'd love to hear from you. So one place to start, though, and that is Cambridge United.
From the Terraces,
Cambridge United.
The flamenco dancers did not appear during that musical interlude. Tim Armitage chuckling to himself. Good to have you with us, Tim. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you very much. Looking forward to the season ahead.
Fantastic indeed. I did get you smiling, didn't it? Really, we had to have a bit of Spanish music, flamenco music, I think is what we might call that. And obviously, we did that because Scott's been in Spain, getting lots of really exclusive content from the training camp. We'll play quite a lot of that today. Some of it we'll be saving for next week's show. That's your incentive to tune in a week's time as well. We also have a reporter making his debut today on air. Toby Hazelham has been an assistant producer on Rose Ed, and we'll hear from him later when we talk about Cambridge City. But let's start with U's business then. The training camp's been the biggest talking point, really. We've had some friendlies on home soil, most of them behind closed doors. We'll talk a little bit about that too. What's the value in doing them, would you say, a training camp abroad? Is it a case of different conditions, do you think, as well? Team bonding, different location, different sort of test? And is it something that's definitely got a place in modern football now? Well,
I mean, all the big clubs do it, of course. If you've got the money, I guess it's a nice
Usually
way.
the Middle East, isn't it? For the top clubs,
or Australia. You get. We used to get Premier League teams and Championship teams out in Australia when I was out there. So, yeah, I mean, you could stay at home and you could train, and you're not sure of the weather, but it has the advantage you'll get the English weather, and that'll be what you're going to be playing the whole season in. So it's one of those things. I think it's obviously nice for the players to go and do it somewhere warm, although to be fair, you could have pretty much done it virtually anywhere in the world and got somewhere warm for the last few weeks. So, I mean, the important thing is, nowadays footballers, they might lose a little bit of fitness over the few weeks that they're not in training and playing, but they generally obviously keep a good level of fitness even over the summer holiday, so it's not too awful when they start. So that's not the reason, that's not the value for it, but definitely team building. You brought in some players, some of them will know players that are at Cambridge, some of the new ins will know each other. It gives them a good chance to kind of bond, and beyond regular training, because they're obviously spending evenings together and things like that when they're at the training camp. So yeah, I mean it is here to stay. Everybody does it, and I think even lower down now, people like to flex a little bit and say, "Oh yeah, we've got a training camp in Spain," and it's not the first time. Of course, there were the games in.
Was it Marbella possibly? Wasn't it?
No. We were in. I went to see when Jez George was around. I went to see them play. I can't remember. It was on the German-Dutch border, I think.
Oh, okay.
So it's not the first time they've been to Europe to play games. Interestingly, they went all that way to play Preston.
Preston probably had the same. Well, I think that Preston were having a cap there too. To be fair, they weren't just flown out. Especially, I think there was probably some logistical planning that went into that. But
and to be fair, it gives fans, because it's not behind closed doors. It gives fans the chance to actually go out there and have a bit of a break and go and watch Cambridge United. So it's an early view of what will be, the presumably the nucleus of the side. Scott and I went to see the Cambridge City game, and obviously that was complete. Everyone in the squad got time on the pitch just to get them out there and get some minutes into legs. This time round, the Preston game was pretty much a strong side and likely to form the nucleus of the side for the upcoming season. So, they get to play together. People get an early view of all of the people that have come in as well.
Yeah, we'll kind of come on to that in a second. But really, the key thing is, and this is something Neil Harris will say in his interview, I don't want to spoil too much because we do want to sort of have an element of surprise, but it's not a jolly, it's not a holiday camp, that's the key thing as well.
No, it's not. No.
And I think a manager can learn quite a lot, as you say, from that. It's the chance to experiment a little bit, and also the team chemistry is really important as well, because as we know, having watched football for years, that you can have the best players, but if they can't play as a team, then you're not going to get very far. So that's kind of what's important really as well. Scott's been having a chat with fans actually. We'll hear from them a little bit later on, because there are about 500 or so fans that went to watch the Preston game, and obviously it's quite nice for them. Fans got a holiday out of it as well. I think quite a few. I think it was a bit of an entourage that went out there actually as well. That sort of came along for a break in Spain as well, and obviously get to watch a bit of football as part of it. So it's something a little bit different. And it was for Scott, it's probably a busman's holiday, I think is the expression that somebody said actually for him. But he did a sterling job. So very well done indeed. And let's talk about Preston and a 1-0 victory. I mean, if it was a cup game, we might say it was an upset, but it's actually just a friendly. It doesn't always tell us a great deal, but you can learn a lot from these sorts of games where you can play your trust, you can experiment. I think the sort of the tactics and the shape's going to be interesting as well, really, because I think we know that the users are going to have to adapt in League One. I think the 4-2-3-1 isn't going to work against a lot of teams. They are just going to end up being run ragged. So I think there's going to be a move. I think it looked like it was back three and wing backs. I think that was what they went for against Preston. So
yeah, I mean it is early days. I mean it's more important that they're getting minutes on the pitch, and just figuring out those that have been there less time, how everyone plays and where they're going to play and where they're going to get the most out of them. But the results, and Neil probably says this in his interview, the results don't matter at this stage of the season because it is just pre-season. But they seem to play a strong side. They seem to have a good idea of where they were going to go with the squad next season. Who's going to be first choice? Who's not going to be first choice? So it gives them a chance to start putting that into practice and start to see how those players get together and play. So yeah, it's a great result, but does it mean anything for the season? No, it doesn't really.
It doesn't sort of set a tone. Let's head over to Neil Harrison. He's been having a chat with Scott McGeorge. Here we go.
Right, Neil, we're out here in camp in Spain, and you wanted warm weather training. You certainly got that out here. It's a tough environment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is challenging for the players, but it has been back home. When they've been in their off-season programmes like through June, it's been tough, and they're in the gym doing it on a treadmill. It's been tough for them. So it just continued. Really, just obviously the heat's ramped up here, so we're just careful around training times, how long we train for. But ultimately, we trained at a time, like standard times, what we trained back in the UK to try and keep continuity. But also we played Preston at 11 o'clock on Friday morning, and the players have to adapt to the heat and the humidity. So training at sort of 10:15, 10:30, 10:45, keeps them in preparation for the game.
I don't know, it's cliche, but it is a good opportunity to integrate the new faces, Patrick Bowers, Callum Perry, who I just spoke to there, Gassan Ahadmi, and you touched on it in your club interview, you're with each other sort of 24/7 more or less, so it's a good environment, especially for like Sir Callum, who's only just joined.
Yeah, it is, and ultimately that's why we've come away slightly later than maybe my teams have in the past, because we knew we had some work to do over the off season, and we knew as much as we think we signed some very good players that fit nicely into our football club, but we know how challenging it was going to be in this transfer window for us to compete at the level. So we came slightly later to give us a little bit more time, and again obviously Callum's a perfect example, us working with Coventry really closely to the timing of the deal, etc., and being able to get him on the trip. Really pleased. I can't thank Frank and Joe Edwards and all the guys at Coventry enough for enabling him to be here now. So that's worked really well for us. But ultimately, integrating the players over the course of the week is what the trip's about, really. It's match minutes on the pitch on Friday morning against Preston. It's opportunity for me to deliver any time over sort of, a 16-hour day with video presentations, with walkthroughs, with tactics boards, with game scenarios on the training pitch or off the training pitch, and it just gives us that opportunity for the staff to get to know each other better as well, and also the players. And I love these trips. It's people think, you're going away, it's a bit of a holiday. The players, as your experience now, train extremely hard in tough conditions, but also they're quite non-stop. So they do, yes, a little bit of downtime to go for a walk, or to sit in the aircon, or play some table tennis or some paddle or something. But ultimately, their meetings, their training sessions, their gym sessions, their recovery sessions in the pool. But we fill their days, and it's just all part of just making sure that they're prepared for a tough season.
And I sense you're really pleased with the signing of Callum Perry, who comes in from Coventry, of course, and the manager there, Frank Lampard. I believe you went to school with him back in Brentwood back in the day, Neil, and he was a year above you, and you played together. Is that right? So was there any help or discussion there from Super Frank?
Yeah, I think that might hurt him, because he was a year below me, so I'm older, so that might hurt him. So you might want to retract that one, because he's a legend.
Let's hope he's listening to this.
I think it wasn't a case of me, having to pick the phone up and beg, borrow and steal. I think it's just a case of we think he's a really good fit for us. We see huge potential in the lad. We're excited to help him on his pathway and his journey, which started with him getting promoted at 2 football clubs last year. With the input he played sort of on the training pitch and in the change room for Coventry. And certainly on the pitch for Rochdale. So we think his next stage of development, as Coventry do, is to step into League One and be part of our group. Obviously, Joe Edwards has managed at football club. I've managed it twice, so there's a lot of understanding of how I work, and I think Coventry probably like as well in teaching the lad. But then also Joe worked very closely with Adam Barrett as well. When Adam worked for Joe and done the defensive unit, and how Adam develops players and supports players in the defensive unit, I think was a big selling point for Coventry as well. So it's worked really well for us timing wise. We're pleased to have him. I'm always careful how I talk about young players, because as much as we see the potential, and he's very highly thought of at their place, as well as within our football department, but our scouting network as well. But he's a very young man as well, and we have to be respectful to that and patient that we don't put too much pressure on his shoulders too early. So Callum comes into our competitive squad at the moment, and fights for the opportunity to play at left back, left wing back, left centre half, possibly into midfield if needed as well.
I just want to ask you about another incoming player, one that you're very fond of, in Ghassan Ahadmi. I remember asking you the question last year when Charlton come down for the friendly, and it wasn't possible, but it's possible this season, so you'll be delighted to get big Ghassan in. I'm going to speak to him shortly, and it's a big season for Ghassan, isn't it? It's important for him to get a good pre-season under his belt, try and stay fit, God willing, and score goals at League One level.
Yeah, first and foremost, it's a big season for our football club. Trying to compete in League One and try and progress as a football club, and to do that we need a competitive squad. We need to score goals. We need to be defensively sound and resolute at times, and you need a mix, and a blend to be able to do that. You need experienced players, you need young players, you need discipline, but you need pace. You need fit players, and a profile that sort of suits how I think our team should play at this level, at the Abbey in particular, and Ghassan just ticks all those boxes. Ghassan's got great experience of this football club, but also English football, but without maybe playing the games that he deserved to play because of an injury record. So my job with my staff is trying to keep him fit. Ghassan, is on board with a schedule that we're setting him that he's going to adapt to, because ultimately Ghassan is a top striker. I think certainly at this level and the league above when fit. So it's a big season for us, and he's a big part of it, but it's also a big season for Ghassan. I agree. He's had a couple of seasons where he's not completely full seasons, and he just needs to get into that rhythm and continuity of playing games and training regularly, and also just making sure he's finding form as well. He knows exactly what I expect from him. He knows he's in competing with Louis Apre for a 9 position, and Shane Laverin slightly different aspect. we've got a clear identity and structure for Gassan, and I really look forward to working with him in my initial spell here, in a short spell. He was obviously very influential in that, and unfortunately got injured, and we brought Lyle Taylor in on the back of that. But Gassan was excellent, and I think the fan base are excited about seeing him and very pleased to see him. He's such a handful in both penalty areas, great in defensive box, but in the attacking box he's fantastic, and he's also developed as a player and a human being as well. So we look forward to working with him this season.
I can hear part 2 of that interview next week on From the Terraces. That's your incentive to tune in a week today when Scotty is back in the chair. Now, let's talk about friendlies, Tim. You went to the Cambridge City friendly, and a little bit a different sort of game. And I think it's something that's going to become part of almost like a relationship building thing, isn't it? Really. So a bit of a different kind of friendly. We know it's going to be almost a fixture in the years to come. Really, we know the significance of the relationship between the two clubs. We know about Harris's connection to City. The possible loans that are going to be done as well, each way, different 11 in each half sort of thing. And I think it's one of the things that's been happening is that we're seeing friendlies being played behind closed doors. Now, Harris did sort of say, well, look, we are giving the fans a chance to see us, hence why we are doing the Northampton game, hence why we've done the City game. What we're seeing more is these friendlies being played behind closed doors. Now, there are reasons, I think, for this, is that you can experiment. If you're playing trialists, you're not worried about other scouts coming along potentially and nabbing them, or you can kind of almost see it without distractions. Perhaps the privacy that perhaps you need sometimes as well. What's your kind of take on that, really? And is this something that I think is there sort of value in doing that?
Yeah, and I suspect a lot of it, to be fair, is commercial reasons, because of course if you open up your stadium, you've got to get your stewards, you've got to get your catering, you've got to get all of these things done, and it might not commercially be a viable thing to do. The running costs at the Abbey are going to be much higher than they are at City's ground, Sawston, so it kind of makes sense.
Not many fans would necessarily go, and that's not being disrespectful. That's not because the team's rubbish, it's more because of the time of year, isn't it?
And it's on at 11 o'clock in the morning and things like that. So so if it was on at 7:45 in the evening, it would be a different proposition. But yeah, I think it also gives them a way to they can stop the game if they want to. They can do anything they like because it's not there in front of fans. So it's you're not giving anything. Neither team's giving anything away when they see people on the pitch. It's always difficult at this time of year because they play trialists and everyone knows who those trialists are, and they try to keep it a secret, but they can't because someone leaks it on Twitter as soon as they see someone out there. So I think it's just why would you want to show everything to your fans and to the non-fans that might turn up if they were allowed to do that?
So we're going to see more of a compromise. I think at clubs where actually they'll say, look, we'll have a couple of games where you can come, and somewhere actually we'll say it's happening, but you can't come, sort of thing.
To be fair, it's not new. I mean, it's we've always had games that are played in front of fans, and we've always had games at the start of the season that aren't played in front of fans.
I think there seems to be more, unless I'm mistaken. It seems to be more this summer. Perhaps it seems to be becoming more of a thing. But
yeah, I mean, it might be. But as I say, I think that just the convenience of the time they can hold it doesn't suit commercial conditions, and also at the end of the day, I mean, scouts can turn up anytime, and they could have turned up at the City game, although to be fair they wouldn't have seen much at that. It wasn't as a game goes, it wasn't a brilliant game.
It was an expected result for but a good respectable result. And City gave a good account themselves as well.
Yeah, so. it was a good run out for everyone, and
plus blow the cobwebs off and stuff like that.
Levery got out onto the pitch and came off and panicked everybody, but then he did runs around the pitch just to make sure people realised it wasn't injured.
I heard about that. Yeah, somebody I know went to it actually. So, but speaking of fans, we had 500 or so go to the Preston game, and Scott had a chat with some of them. They were giving their thoughts, sort of in-game analysis, if you like, with a few of them, including the very familiar voice of Gary Atters. Let's hear from them now.
Andrew, we're halfway through the second half here in Spain, 1-0 up against Preston. How have you found the game so far?
Really enjoyed it. It's great to see a couple of new signings. Hadme played really well in the first half, and really like Isaac Heath. Lovely to see him get his first goal, even though it's in a pre-season game. So yeah, it's all exciting really.
Doing very well in the conditions. We're roasting, sweltering, sweating here, all of the above. So to be running out in it and playing football and doing so well, they're doing a sterling job out there.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. That's all part of the programme. I'm sure it's all an integrated programme they've been building up, the last three or 4 weeks, I suppose. Got the game on Tuesday night against Northampton, so it's all part of the preparation for the new season, so it's great.
Simon, what about yourself? How have you found the Spanish experience so far?
I'm sweltering, but no, it's really cool to see Cambridge play somewhere outside of the UK. I think the only other foreign country I've seen Cambridge play was Newport last season.
Very true, and what a great turnout by both sets of supporters. But considering this is Cambridge's first trip out to Spain, like to see so many shirts and colours has kind of taken me aback a little bit.
I'm amazed at how many there are. I thought there'd maybe be a handful of us, but I mean, both sets of fans have taken up an entire stand in this place, and it's definitely 70-30 split in Cambridge's favour.
Excellent. Well, thank you, both Andrew and Simon. We'll enjoy the rest of the second half.
Thank you.
Thank you.
James, first things first, it's really warm out here. You just said to me you've been on holiday multiple times to various places. It's about as hot as it's been.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the humidity out here has been something else. I mean, saying temperatures are 32, 33, but I think we can honestly say it feels a lot higher than that. It's good to see the lads out there playing today are coping well with it.
They are really well against a strong championship side in Preston, and Hughes have impressed thus far, haven't they?
I think so. I mean, look, you wouldn't actually sort of notice there's a league, they're sort of league apart at the moment. I thought we've controlled sort of play well, looked to put it into space well, caused them a few problems. They've caused us a couple of problems, which we've dealt with well, looking strong at the back, and I think the new lads have settled in very well so far.
Totally agree. And how have you sort of found the Spanish experience with the U's on tour, as it were, in Spain so far? Players have been accessible, and Neil, etc., has been very good. I know a few people have bumped into him, so that's always a fun thing to do as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I bumped into a couple of them on their bicycles in the town the other day, and a few in the supermarket. And as always, they've always been very accommodating with the fans, and always got time for a quick chat with you and a bit of a laugh. And I think that's what sort of part and parcel of what makes Cambridge United great, really. I think it's the connection between the fans and the players themselves has certainly come on leaps and bounds in the last certainly 10 years. And it's great that now the fans can sort of feel part of something as well.
Very well said. Well, enjoy the rest of the game, James, and try and keep cool, mate.
Will do, buddy. Look after yourself.
Woodsy, a few minutes left here. It's still Cambridge United 1, Preston 0, and you enjoyed the pre-season game out here so far?
I have indeed, Scott. A highly impressive performance this afternoon in absolute searing heat. The shape looks very impressive. Won't be giving too many secrets away on your show, but back through which he started with today with Pat Bow looks extremely strong. From last season as well, he just added a bit of experience. Shep McLaughlin in centre midfield, fantastic first half performance, and overall very, very pleasing. A couple of young lads have come on second half, which I need to find out from Mr. Harris later on at the hotel what his name is, but number 32 looks very solid and composed, and overall we look in very, very good shape, with hopefully one or two more additions to come in the coming days.
Very well said. And as you said there, you happen to be in the team hotel, and players and Neil Harris and all the staff have been really complimentary. So you being a die-hard Cambridge United fan, you've been in your element, Woodsy.
Absolutely loved it. To be fair, I arrived Tuesday and had a quick word with Big Pat when I saw him on arrival, very friendly. But the class of Neil Harris yesterday came over late afternoon time after we'd been there all day, came and sat with me and a group of 7 or 8 others, and sat with us for the best part of an hour, just talking football, talking United, talking future hopes and what we're looking to do next season. And can't praise the man highly enough for that, to be honest.
Great stuff, Woodsy. Well, great to catch up with you, and we'll speak to you again in the season, mate.
Top man, one love.
Gary, sweltering hot out here. We're midway through the second half here. Hughes 1-0 up against Preston, and you've been pleased with what you've seen so far, especially with the conditions being so hot.
Yeah, it's been good. I think we've been the better side, potentially. Great performances from Gassan, I thought looked really good. Isaac Heath, good performance from him. Ben Knight's been sharp. Baldy in midfield, and the back three looked decent. So, yeah, very good so far, Scott.
How would you describe the sort of humidity and temperatures for supporters back home?
Really tough. I'm trying to get used to sweating buckets, which is not easy, but yeah, it's really, really tough. And how the players are coping, I don't know.
And it's not often you get to see the U's out here in Spain in camp, and games not being behind closed doors, so it's been a good opportunity for supporters to come out, enjoy a little break and a holiday, and get to see the U's in their hotel playing today. So how have you found the Spanish experience, Gary?
Yeah, it's been great so far. I was talking to some of the Preston North End fans at half-time, and it's been regular for them. It's their 4th year here at this arena, so... but yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to put up with the heat every year. It's been tough, but yeah, great experience so far. Really enjoying it.
Cheers, Gary.
Gary Atters there, the last of the fans that were sharing his view, the 500 or so that watched the Preston game, which ended, of course, in a 1-0 victory. Let's get the thoughts of assistant head coach Adam Barrett, who spoke to Scott after the game.
Great to catch up with assistant Adam Barrett. What did you make of the game there, Adam, in really tough conditions?
Yeah, extremely hot, but yeah, fantastic workout. I thought there was some really, really positive bits from the game. Changed shape, first time we looked at a different shape today, obviously against a very good, well organised, strong championship side. So I thought we started the game really brightly, first 25 minutes, probably a little bit of fatigue, then some decision making wasn't quite as good in the next bit, which is what you expect, especially in the heat. But overall, delighted, really good minutes in the legs. Everyone seems to have come through it. Nice to get the win, even though it's not about that, but clean sheet. And like I said, lots and lots of positives to take from it.
And Ads, I'm sure you'd have been out on pre-season tours in various countries. Is this about as intense humidity and heat-wise that you've encountered?
Yeah, it always is. I've been to this area a couple of times previously, and it is tough, and that's part of why you come here. You know, hopefully then you feel the benefits when you get back home. But it is really humid, as you know. I mean, we're dripping with sweat just walking. So the lads put in a really, really big effort and a great shift, and it's topped off the end of a really good week for us.
As and a couple of defenders have come in, I thought they put up a good show today. Patrick Bauer and Callum Perry, what did you make of both of them?
Yeah, really good. I mean, Pat obviously big, experienced, played a lot of games, so we know what Pat's all about. Callum's really highly thought of, done well at Rochdale last year. And I thought the pair of them come in and done really well, getting to know how we want them to play and how the team plays. But I thought they slotted in perfectly, and like I said, considering it was the first time we've visited that shape since we've been back pre-season against a team that rotate a lot, move the ball a lot, I thought it was excellent. I thought the pressing triggers were really, really good. So like I said, we're delighted with that workout, and hopefully we feel the benefits now and we go back home.
Is that a shape you expect to perhaps begin with? I know that you've been dynamic, haven't we, with switching between the two, but obviously going with Job, Bauer and Kel Watts, and then the wing backs.
Well, I think one of our strengths last year was the flexibility that we was able to do, and especially going up a division now against teams with different shapes. So it's something that we're definitely going to look at, to be able to flip between the two, which might suit playing against the opposition or suit what players we've got available. So yeah, like I said, we're quite open to that, and that's why we wanted to have a good look at it today, so that we are versatile when we're coming up against different opposition.
I'll do a fan show, Ads, and brilliant turnout from both sets of supporters there, and that made it a nice occasion for you guys. People have travelled out, paid some good money whilst having a holiday, but supporting their team, it was magnificent, I thought, again in the heat.
Brilliant. I mean, it was felt like a proper game, which was lovely. But we'd like to say, on behalf of everyone, like to thank all the supporters for coming out. It's tremendous to see so many. Difficult conditions for yourselves as well. I'm sure there was a few beers probably drunk before the game. Not so that's good in the heat, but no, it was fantastic. Really good. Really do appreciate that. It's brilliant for the players, brilliant for us, and it's nice that obviously I come in last year, beginning of last season, but it seems there's a real togetherness now, and the supporters are right behind and can see the progress that we're making and right behind the players. So yeah, brilliant. Thanks very much for coming, and hopefully we can give you something to cheer about when we get home.
So that's Adam Barrett there with Scott McGeorge talking about the Preston game, which finished, of course, in that 1-0 victory for the U's. Plenty to take away and digest from that. We'll talk more things U's in a little while. We're going to be hearing from Callum Perry, the new signing on loan from Coventry, and the return of Gassana Hadme. Tim's thoughts on the two new signings, and it's a very, very energetic gesture there. We'll come back after these very important messages and we'll have more discussion then. Don't go away.
Cambridge Radio.
Sunday nights descend into the world of indie music with Stagger, the alternative music show with rap, electronica and experimental music.
I'm Tom. I'm here with you with a whole load of fantastic music that I really, really hope you enjoy.
It's your backstage pass to the indie music scene.
And they're also on the bill. And then before that, we had a live version of Your House Has Ghosts, a favourite track of ours.
Great track. What a lineup that is.
It is a brilliant night.
Stagger, online whenever you want, and Sunday at 10 on Cambridge Radio.
Catch up with all your local sport. Bulletins on the half hour in Cambridge Breakfast and Home.
This
is Cambridge Radio. From the Terraces.
Cambridge Radio.
Welcome back to From the Terraces with me, Daniel Baker, and Tim Armitage. And Scott McGeorge has been out in Spain. We'll have more of his exclusive interviews shortly. But let's talk about signings now. The trip, of course, a chance to see players in action, fans, and, of course, the staff. They won't have seen Callum Stead in action due to his injury, but another Callum Perry, did sign on the dotted line in time, and I think they were hoping to get that deal done so he could be a part of that camp. Now, he played for Rochdale last season on loan from the Sky Blues, helped to promotion from the National League in a crazy season. And a good move and perhaps a natural step up, and perhaps a case of the fact he won't get much senior football at the Sky Blues, and rather than sitting on the bench, he's going to go out there and play some league football.
Yeah, I mean, that's at this stage of his career, that's what all the players want to do. It's what they need. They need to get into senior football. They need to get used to it. They need to get used to playing in different styles. So loaning them out is a great way of doing that. And he'll keep his levels of fitness up. Coventry will be able to keep an eye on him, see how he's doing, see what he's done. They'll have an input as well to what goes on. But in the process, we get a well-regarded defender, which we needed to strengthen, which we definitely needed to strengthen in. So, these kind of loans work out well for everybody generally, and hopefully he'll fit in. And by all accounts, he had a good game, and we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes next season.
Yeah, and knowing Frank Lampard, he'll of course have his eye on him. We'll talk more about that shortly, but let's hear from Callum Perry himself. He's been having a chat with Scott.
So here with new signing Callum Perry, and welcome to Cambridge United. How have you found your third time in Spain this summer?
Yeah, really good. It's been good to come and meet the lads out here. Obviously, being together 24/7, it's probably the best time to do it. But yeah, really excited, and I've enjoyed my first couple of days.
So I was just talking to you on the way back from training there, and evidently you'd been out to Spain for a holiday. You'd been out with your parent club, Coventry City, at the beginning of the month, and then your new club, Cambridge United. So you'll be sort of speaking the lingo soon out here.
Yeah, I think I'm all Spained out, to be honest. But no, I've really enjoyed it. It's been a good summer. Had some good time off after a tough last season, and yeah, good to be back at it and buzzing to finally be here.
And it is a perfect introduction to meet your new teammates and a great environment. Again, speaking to you earlier, you said you didn't sort of know any of the boys. How have you sort of found it so far, integrating with them, like you say, 24 hours a day?
Yeah, it's good. They're a great group. The staff are really good as well, and like I said, being with people 24/7, you learn to get along, and it's probably the best way to come and do it. So I've really enjoyed my time so far. I think it's a great group of lads, and I can see why they did so well last year. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far.
Excellent stuff. And just for supporters that might not know, we obviously know you're highly regarded at Coventry, captained their under-21 team, just signed a new long-term deal there, was involved as recent as last week against Northampton. But for anyone that don't know, you're a Birmingham lad, that's right, and grew up there?
Yeah, family from Birmingham, live just outside in Worcestershire at the moment. I come through at Birmingham when I was younger, when I was about 7 till I was about 14. And then I moved to Coventry, and I've loved my time there. It's been great, the coaches that have come through, and I've really enjoyed it. And then obviously all the way up to the first team, and now coming on loan here. So yeah, it's been a really good career for me so far coming through.
And you're a young player learning your trade, and Frank Lampard, the manager there, he's had great success. Some things just fit, and Frank being at Coventry is one. Must be someone you sort of watch growing up and look up to. So quality to have him as your gaffer.
Yeah, it was a bit surreal at first. Obviously, Frank Lampard being your manager, but what a top manager, and I've learnt so much since being with them and being with the first team. So I've really enjoyed my time working with them. Yeah.
Excellent. And again, earlier on we were talking, I know your agent quite well, Elliot Anderson. He's a Cambridge lad, so I'm sure he had good things to say about the city and the club in itself.
Yeah, one of the first things the gaffer said to me was about the training ground, and I turned up and I couldn't believe it, to be honest. what a setup they've got there. And yeah, Elliot said nothing but good things about the club, and as soon as I spoke to the gaffer and about this club and everything, I knew it was the right place for me to come to.
And was the move, often these moves take a little bit of time, was it something that was sort of in progress and in the pipeline for a few weeks?
Yeah, I think I spoke to the gaffer about a month ago on the phone, and like I said, I knew this was the place I wanted to come. But yeah, it took some time. Obviously got a couple of games in with Coventry in pre-season, got to go away, but yeah, it seemed like the right time to come now, and I'm glad I'm here. Now
the talk's gone with Neil. He's a sort of punchy character, isn't he? He's got high demands. He's been there and done it himself as a player. As we talked about Frank Lampard, Neil leading all-time scorer at Millwall, so someone that's highly respected. And he's a real good bloke, good person, and someone you expect you're excited working under. Yeah, definitely. Obviously, he demands a lot, but we need that. That's why Cambridge did so well last year, I can see. And the lads respect him. I think everyone respects him and the way he is. So I'm really looking forward to working with him this year. And also, not forgetting the likes of Adam Barrett, again, good career as a defender. So, and Liam O'Neill's freshly been sort of elevated into the first team. Two other good sort of pros that you can learn off. Yeah, 100%. I mean, being a defender, obviously, it'd be really important to learn off them. So I'm really looking forward to that, and hopefully I can take as much in as possible, and that can help with my game this year.
Some more from Callum Perry shortly, but the defence is certainly an area of the team that needed to be addressed, because we've obviously seen Zeno Ebson-Rossi go, James Gibbons, Ben Purrington, Michael Morrison, of course, the big one, really, but perhaps not surprising. So really, this had to be a priority area. So is a young, hungry centre-back with a little bit of experience in at least in the league pyramid or non-league pyramid, what they wanted? Do you think he's a good fit?
Yeah, he's going to be a good fit. Is he the answer? Possibly not. No, I think there's still some strengthening to be done there. But it's certainly no problem for us to bring him in, and I think he is experienced, not necessarily at this level, but he's got that experience, so he should fit in. I do though still think that's where we're a little bit light still.
Yeah, there's been a couple of trialists. Liam McElhinney and Oliver Smith have been on trial as well. They're both defenders, and I think they're both centre-backs as well by trade, so we don't know if that's going to go anywhere with either of those two. I'm thinking probably not from what's been said, but I want to get your thoughts on Patrick Bauer as well, someone that was just say pair of hands perhaps as well, the experience, don't know how much he'll play exactly, but someone that's worth having around.
Yeah, it's an interesting signing. It is going to be interesting to see how he gets on in terms of time on the pitch, but it's the way it is. So I think we wait and see. He's a bit of an unknown entity. He's played a lot of his football overseas, obviously, because he came from Germany, I think, originally, but he's played at Charlton, so people have seen him, and he had a good season last year. So
absolutely. So we'll talk about the other end of the pitch shortly. Interview with Ghassan Ahadme to come, but first let's rejoin Callum Perry.
And you played at a high level, at under 21 level, as we've mentioned earlier, but you had an interesting start into your senior career there at Rochdale, and under 21s is great, but isn't it brilliant playing for promotion, big points, big games? It must have been some buzz at Rochdale, having that battle with York City all the way to the wire last season. Yeah, I got to go there in January, my first sort of taste of men's football, and I loved every minute of it. I learnt so much, and just being there was unbelievable. Obviously that title race was mental, to say the least, but no, it was so good to be involved in. Obviously we had the highs, and then we had that York on the last day, which was horrible, but then we got to go up during the playoffs and got to play at Wembley, and I've got a lot to thank Rochdale for, and I'm really grateful for everything they did for me last year. Incredible experience, at your sort of youngish age, and like I say, making your way in the game into senior football, but to step up and take a crucial penalty as well. So you're learning on the job. What was that feeling like at Wembley? Like when you sort of, the realisation that was a massive penalty and could potentially take Rochdale up. Yeah, I was just worried about cramping, to be honest, when I was going to kick it, but what a moment. I wanted to embrace it, obviously in front of a lot of people and a lot of pressure, but I'm glad I stepped up and scored and could help the team in that way. What would you say is your favoured position, Callum? We know you've got a good left foot. I think you sort of acknowledged that in your club interview. So hopefully we'll see a few deliveries or possibly even a goal or two. But Neil said you're very versatile, so anywhere across the back ultimately?
Yeah, I think I can play anywhere across the back line. I've played in midfield a couple of times, so I don't mind playing there as well. But yeah, I think that's part of my game, being able to play in a lot of positions, and I think that's useful for the team, and it helps me out making sure that I can get in the team.
We're a few weeks off the start of the season now. Have you sort of based within the city and had time to look around Cambridge much, or I suppose it's all been a bit of a whirlwind?
Yeah, it was a bit of a rush. Obviously, I wanted to make sure that I was here for this tour, so I came Sunday. So come up Sunday. Obviously, we flew out here Monday. So was it Monday we flew out here, or Tuesday? Tuesday, yeah. So I come up Monday, flew out Tuesday. So it's been a bit of a rush. So I haven't got to see the city quite as much as I wanted to, but hopefully I can do that when we get back.
And you're looking forward to playing in front of the Amber Army, you know, when they pack in, and we're getting good high attendances now. It can be quite a hostile little stadium and a tight place, and you'll be leaning on using that when some of the big clubs in League One visit. So sure, again, you'll be looking forward to putting on that amber shirt and entertaining the supporters.
Yeah, I can't wait to play in front of them, and I've heard it's obviously not a nice ground to come to when you're an away team, so I'm looking forward to that and the environment. But yeah, I can't wait to play in front of everyone.
Callum, it's been a pleasure to sit down with you. Good luck for the season ahead at the U's.
Thank you very much.
There's some excitement there with Callum Perry coming into the squad. Now let's talk about the other end of the pitch. Gaston Hadme now. Tim, got to get your thoughts on this. You obviously will remember his first spell at the club under Neil Harris. He wouldn't necessarily have been a cheap option to buy permanently, so a loan deal perhaps the solution. But he was playing in League One last season for Stevenage, 17 games in all competitions, so not a bit of a disrupted season. He didn't play perhaps as many games as he'd like due to injuries. I think there was a rumour he was going to join last season, wasn't there? I think he might have done, the deal fell through perhaps on injury reasons. But
they tried to get him last season, I think. I think it's a good move, a loan move.
Obviously to do,
You know, we saw that he can play. I think it was 13 goals in 33, which by his standards he would think wasn't a great contribution. But we'd kill for 13 goals. So
double figures is good, isn't it?
So I like him. I think he's got a lot about him. He's good going forward. He's relatively good coming back as well. And I think he's going to be a good addition, and I think we'll make use of him. And as long as he stays fit, then I think he'll be a regular in that side.
Yeah, absolutely. He's too good to be warming Charlton's bench. Really, that's the thing as well. He's I don't think he has any qualms about playing in League One, to be honest, as well. He's worked with Harris before, as we know from the previous spell. His role is probably going to be quite clearly defined. I expect he'll get a lot of minutes, assuming he stays fit and everything. He'll probably talk a bit about that shortly, because I think with Shane Lavery, we know it's kind of been said without being said. He's the impact sub. When you've got a sort of set of attacking players, you'll think, okay, one's more of a wide player, one's more of a striker. We'll perhaps try and play him more. If it's going to be a front two, which I think if the Preston game tells us anything, it might well be a case of the 3-5-2. Mm-hmm. Therefore, you want two attackers. I expect Gaston to get minutes this year. I think.
Yeah, and I think Lavery I think that's a very smart move. I'm assuming they've got him in on obviously a reduced salary and on a per game bonus or a goal bonus or whatever. I think it's a good piece of business. That I think yes, he'll play not very many minutes, but I think when he gets on the pitch, as we've seen, he is a good player, and I think playing alongside Ahadme is actually going to be quite interesting, because they could play off each other really well, and I think it could be a very successful partnership. I just hope that we can get enough minutes in it for his sake, and that he can go through a season relatively unscathed, because I think that's what he needs.
Let's hand over to Gaston Ahadme then. He's been having a chat with Scott McGeorge. Now, I must point out that he was being interviewed poolside wearing an R9 Ronaldo shirt. Brazil won a la the 1998 World Cup final. Let's hear from him now.
So here we're Gaston Ahadme back at the U's. We're out here in Spain. I guess you're pleased to be in camp over here, seeing as you were born in Spain. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Barcelona. So Spain is my country, and yeah, obviously to come back here with the good weather, being able to train and spend some really good time with my teammates is really enjoyable.
Now we're sitting here outside poolside, and it's extremely humid out here and very hot. Myself and my wife walked to get some bread and milk last night, and we were dripping with sweat. So is it something you were used to?
Not used to a lot now, obviously, because I live in England, but obviously I spend a lot of weeks in Barcelona in my off season, and it was not as hot as in here, so it's caught me a bit of surprise, but I'm coping up well.
And how does that make the training feel for you guys out there? Again, we watched training this morning and, like I said, sweating, and you guys were putting in the yards and the work and the concentration. I spoke to Kel Watts and he sort of referred to it as being like training in altitude, like hard on the lungs.
Yeah, to be fair, obviously, I see it as an opportunity to like work in our fitness. Obviously, now when we go back to England, we'll feel like we can even push more and train harder, because when you push yourself in this kind of environment and conditions, then the adaptations are bigger for your body. So I see it that way, and I give them 100%.
Fantastic, and we're in a nice setting here at hotel. There's actually a few U supporters in the hotel, so it's nice to be mingling. It's nice for them to mingle with the players, and seen a few of them about. It's good to see them supporting Cambridge United out in Spain, and they obviously backed you in your first spell here, and you became a bit of a fan's favourite, so supporters you'll be fond of, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. I gotta say, for example, I spend a lot of time and most of my days in David Lloyd Cambridge, and I always fans always come up to me. I know I've seen and I know a lot of Cambridge fans, and as you said, on my last spell in here, I had an amazing time. The fans were incredible with me, and long may it continue.
And who are you rooming and sharing a lot of your time with out here, Gas?
I'm sharing with Patrick Bauer, and I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm getting to know a side that I didn't know he had, and we have a lot of common things. Like, we think the same way about life and different stuff. So we've had like really enjoyable, interesting conversation. So it's been good.
Is Patrick someone you knew previously?
Only I played against him this past few seasons. I played against him. I didn't know personally, but I knew who he was, basically. Yeah.
Big signing for us. We lost some characters back end of last season, like Corey Smith, Michael Morris and James Brophy. So people like Patrick Bell with an abundance of experience and knowledge of the game is going to be vital to the U's this season.
Yeah, 100%. As you said, that kind of player, that kind of role was lost this season with the departures of the names that you have just named, and I think like he fits in that role perfectly. Obviously, he's got a lot of football on his back, and he's got a lot of knowledge, and the most important thing, I believe like he'll be really good on the pitch. Obviously, he's played good level, and he knows what he's doing.
What's a typical day look like here for a supporter that might be interested in what happens in a Spanish camp for Cambridge United, Gassan?
It's early morning breakfast. I'll talk about myself, yeah?
So
cool. for me, for example, I wake up really early. It's early breakfast for me. Then I head out to the gym. Normally I cycle and I start my pre-act, and I start to get my body ready before the session, like 90 minutes to 2 hours before. So I've got plenty of time. And then it's training. Straight after we come back here, we obviously, as you imagine, we drip in. We get on the shower, we get changed, then we have lunch. And these days it's been like, obviously tomorrow is going to be the same, but we got a game, but it's been training and ended in the afternoon. It's been like a double session. Normally it's been in the gym. So we'll head back to the gym, work there, and come back. You need to shower again, and then dinner. And then you got time to chill with your teammates, and if you want to go out, go get a coffee or whatever, then it's your time.
Any outside activities you and the boys have been doing? Seeing a bit of cycling and sightseeing yesterday. Any sort of particular interest of yourself, Gas?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a cycling group, to be fair. Me, Dom and Pelly. Yesterday we went for a trip into the centre to get some cash, and it was a long cycle, but yeah, we've been to the shops. I've been to the shops to buy my own stuff that I eat for my room and my little fridge. And I think today we're going to be heading to the beach, so I think it's going to be nice. Yeah,
fantastic. And even speaking to you now, and I know you from your time before at the U's, it could be described as a consummate pro. The way you're careful about what you eat, like you said, you do the pre-workout before training, so it's fair to say you look after yourself and your body extremely well.
Yeah, I'm on it. I try my best, not only in the pitch but obviously in all the areas of my life, and I'm really disciplined. So it's not, I just don't do it because I have to do this. It's just who I am. So that's what I do basically.
You can hear part 2 of that interview on next week's From the Terraces. Just very quickly, Tim, we saw today that Don Ball's been made the new club captain. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think he's a natural leader. He's got the respect of the players. He's got the respect of the fans. So I think it's a perfect move. I can't think of anybody who would do it better than him. So I think that's a good move.
Fantastic. Well, that wraps up the Cambridge United chat. Cambridge City on the way next.
From the Terraces.
Cambridge City.
OK, time to talk all things Cambridge City now then. They had a friendly yesterday with Bury Town, a 2-1 victory for them. So it's now 5 wins from 6 in pre-season. Their league season gets underway on the 15th of August with that home game against Canvey Island. First competitive game the week before on the 8th in the FA Cup at Lowestoft. Ryan Frowett also made his first appearance in a black and white shirt too. Fans saw him in action for the first time yesterday. It's a big rebuild ahead of Mickey Spillane's first full season in charge. Some good signs though. Definitely saw evidence of that when I went to the Ipswich under-23s game last Friday, which was a 3-0 win for the Lily Whites. And after that I had a chat with Mickey about the season ahead, and Toby Haslam, making his reporting debut, also put some questions to him. So let's hear from Mickey now and aims for the season. In terms of the goals for this year, the league has actually expanded the playoffs, so now it's 2nd to 7th get a playoff spot now, so there's going to be like quarterfinals, a bit like the National League, how they set it up for this season, so that hopefully gives you more of a chance. I think from what you said before, playoffs is very much the aim. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I think promotion is the aim, however that comes about, that would be the aim for us. It would be the aim for probably 10, 12 other clubs that are talking to their players, but yeah, 100% the aim is for promotion.
Definitely. And what about the cups as well this year? You're hoping to maybe have a little run or two in there and just see if you can get somewhere with that too?
Yeah, every game we play in we want to win, so whether it's a cup game, whether it's a league game, we'll be looking to get as far as we can in every cup, and obviously get promoted within the league as well. So
brilliant stuff. And it's your first full season in charge as well at Cambridge City. Are you looking forward to actually be able to kind of have a full campaign and be able to sort of shape the team and make it kind of the way you wanted it?
Yeah, I think that was in pre-season. There's been a big, or in the off-season, should I say, there's been a big turnaround of players. All the players that are brought in, I'm confident that we can achieve our goals with.
Now let's hand over to Toby Haslam, who put a couple of questions to Mickey as well.
Obviously, second season at the club now. What can you take? What have you learned from the first season that you can take into this season? And
I think there's lots of things that I learned. I think during the winter period, I felt like that we needed to adapt our game a lot more. So trying to create an adaptable team that can do a bit of both, that can obviously mix our play up. I feel like we've brought the players in to do that. So there'll be lots of learnings that I've taken, that the players have obviously learned as well, because obviously we've spoke to them about it, that obviously can help towards getting us promoted.
how have the new signings joined the team? How are they doing? Have they settled in well?
Yeah, I mean, obviously to start with, there's so many new signings, so it's always the first week's a little bit about everyone getting to know each other, and it's a big thing that we're working on in terms of team spirit. We're training in the morning, and then they've got a team day out. So yeah, you can definitely see it coming together.
And one player that has arrived at the club this summer is Fletcher Toll. He scored in the 3-0 win over Ipswich under-23s, and I caught up with him afterwards. On a personal level, how are you settling into the club at the moment as well? Because you've played at high level, so you've come down to join up with Mickey. I think the club have been after you for quite some time. So how are you finding life at City so far?
Yeah, no, it's really good. All the boys are taking to me well. I feel like I've taken to the club very well. Everyone's very welcoming. Got a good squad, so hopefully kick on through pre-season and hit the ground running and start the season. Yeah,
there's quite a clear vision at Cambridge City, isn't there, this time around, that they obviously want to get promoted, having had a bit of a tricky season last season when the managerial change. Mickey's come in, he's got a whole season now ahead of him, and obviously it sounds like you're sort of really on board with the project, which is very much promotion. He's made that very clear. That's what the goal is.
Yeah, definitely. With the squad he's assembled, that was one of the reasons he brought me in, and I wanted to come in. Promotion's the aim, and hopefully we can do that and do as well as possible.
Fletcher Toll there, the Cambridge City new signing, and a striker who, of course, hopefully will be banging in the goals for them this season. We've got time to talk Histon before we go. Let's do that.
From the Terraces.
Histon.
We've seen players leave like Carl Saffrey, Connor Barnes and Luke Crisp. Some of them have joined up with Kristen at St Neots. Louis Jenkins left. having signed, they have managed to retain Max York, and Ryan Sharman and Bradley Marriott have come in as well. Let's turn our attention into yesterday and their opener against Rugby Town, which didn't quite go to plan. It has to be said, a 3-0 defeat. Goal down at the break through Devon O'Sullivan's close range effort. Then after the break, Ryan Bridgewater's header from a free kick, and a 3-0 was secured by a wonder strike. Nathan Scott from a corner. Could have been more, actually, at the end. Let's talk to Matt Payne and Mark Kritoff, who I spoke to at the final whistle. So Mark and Matt, not the result you wanted. Sum that performance up for us.
Disappointed, mate, to be fair. We've worked hard, we've had good shape throughout the game, but I think the experience of their side showed at times in this game where our inexperience, a side being put together, it cost us today. 2 mistakes when we've got control of the ball, they've broken, scored, and then a third goal where we've turned off and they've reacted and scored a goal. So disappointing with the result. Some pleasing bits to work forward, and hopefully we can move forward on Tuesday night, and that's the best bit about it. We move on to Tuesday night quite quickly.
Yeah, I feel Mark's summary there is quite good. I'd look at it a bit like a sandwich steak there. I feel we started a little bit too slow, maybe a little bit nervy and edgy in there, and the goal to go 1-0 down probably then woke us up a little bit. I think we had that first sort of drinks break when it kicked in. I felt we got control going into half time. The last 10 minutes of the first half was really good, and to be fair, the first 20 minutes of the second half was very good. The second goal for me has changed the game on its head a little bit. It was a bit of a mistake from our part. They score it, a free kick, fizzed in, and then once they got that second goal, I just think we struggled to get a foothold again for that last bit. It looked like counter-attacking football for us to try and find a way of getting back in the game.
Yeah, I mean, a goal down at half-time, naturally you think, OK, we've still got a chance in this game, really. And the team livened up, didn't they, after the break? Their opportunities, obviously, Finley Ebbers had that chocolate off the line, then obviously not long afterwards you go 2-0 down. So perhaps about fine margins in places too?
Fine margins, definitely. I mean, obviously, this is a team we played against today that have come down from step 4. They're trying to set their stall out to win this league this season. I thought at parts of the game, we didn't look too different from one another. I don't think you would have been able to see that was a side that was capable of winning the league. But I think, as we've already highlighted, experience has really shown the difference to them. They've got a much older, put together side that's probably been around the block a little bit now, played either step 4 or played at this level at step 5, and I just think that's what had the edge today.
So Matt Payne and Mark Kritoff, their Histon's joint managers after a very difficult start to the season. So it's nearly home time for both Tim and myself. Tim has done a sterling job as a pundit for the first show back as well. Great to have his thoughts. He'll be a regular on From the Terraces throughout the season. Thank you to Scott McGeorge as well for his hard work in Spain, getting all those interviews there. And we'll be back at the same time next week. Just before we go, we should quickly touch on the women's football. The new season starts on the 16th of August for all our teams. Cambridge United are away at Billericay, Histon away at Haringey, and Cambridge City host the Hitchin Bells. That's all for now. Take care, or adios, as they say in Spain.